Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Nvidia daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Nvidia stock. Let's go over what is happening to Nvidia stock, what we can expect moving forward, and all of that good stuff. So as per usual, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. But of course, if you enjoy my analysis and technical analysis, I do have a membership section where I do share just, updates on the charts, essentially mainly for Tesla stock and other stocks I find as well, like maybe AMD or Intel or etc. Every single day for just $3 a month, or for $5 a month, you get access to all of that plus Nvidia daily updates. But jumping into it, Nvidia closing the day down, unfortunately, just over 1%, closing at $135.50 per share, which compared to the market, you can argue is roughly in line. QQQ definitely having a bit of a painful day, down 0.8%. So what does this mean moving forward for good old Nvidia? Well, obviously there's, as usual, good signs and bad signs. The bad signs, well, we're obviously below market bias, which it hasn't turned red just yet, but it probably at this rate will if we don't get a nice push up sooner than later. But the bands, you can see the smaller band here with the 8 and the 21 EMA crossover have, crossed over to the bearish side on the daily. And that hasn't happened ever since this rally has begun for quite some time away. So that's going to be some signs of concern. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely, it could look a little bit better. It could look a little better. And the fact that we gapped down below this 135 range and unfortunately couldn't close back above it with the potential 50 EMA over here, you can see rejecting us as well, which supported us the last 2 days. Now, unfortunately, acting as a resistance potentially. Those signs alone are not the most ideal thing in the entire world. So that's going to be the main thing I'll be watching for moving forward. Now, is it all bad news though? Is it all bad news? Not necessarily. I think actually Nvidia has a chance to make a potential a bit of a rally here. I actually think there's a chance to be rally from here. Not a massive rally. I don't think we're going to new all-time highs or anything like that as of right now, of course, but wouldn't be surprised if we rally. I'll give you a few reasons as to why that is, but assuming this is the bottom and we don't go lower than now, or than here, which I don't think we will before at least some rally, or at least a dead cat. My main levels to the upside will be about 140, followed by 144, and then absolute best case scenario is pretty much 150. I don't think we'll go to 150. I think either the 145 to about 140. Those are my two main targets I'd look for on this Fibonacci retracement level for this essentially, dead cat rally. That would unfortunately be essentially just printing a fresh lower high because, again, said it many times, we've been pretty much printing higher highs, higher lows until just recently, nice looking lower low. And then we most likely make our way up here somewhere, make a lower high, and then at the very least, we'll make a double bottom, if not make a fresh lower low. One of those will happen. I don't know which one, but there's no reason to guess. We'll take it day by day, step by step. So why do I believe that this area could be the bottom, or at least for now, the bottom, short-term bottom? Why is that, right? Well, let's go over to the 4-hour chart for this. The 4-hour chart, bring out the bands regression. Nice looking little rally. I mean, the daily itself is printing a doji, which could potentially signal a bit of a reversal, but the other things that are making me fairly convinced that we're at or near a bottom, despite nice performance from today's recovery. It was a pretty painful day for the most part, and then a nice recovery towards the end of the day. And even stocks like AMD, looked very ugly actually. I'm not gonna lie, AMD looked hideous today, but it actually recovered pretty well as well. So and Intel looks like it's recovering decently well. Like, these stocks look like they want to at the very least get some form of rally moving forward. And, that leads me to believe that I think all three of them can potentially get a rally. I mean, we'll see, of course, we'll see. Nothing is guaranteed. But the reason why I believe Nvidia is at or near bottom is because take a look at the bands and take a look at the RSI, right? The bands and the RSI are both telling a very similar story. So let's use past examples. So let's zoom in like this. Bring this up here, right? So I want to line it up like this. This area, and pretty much this area, right? All the way down, and compare what they look like with the bands up here, right? Not the market bias. I'll remove the market bias for now. We already know that's right. I'm talking about specifically this bands regression. And the RSI. Back here, for instance, Nvidia tanked all the way to the second line of the oversold territory of the bands, and RSI oversold. What do? We bounced. Cool. Next. I'll keep it circled so you can get a better idea. Same idea. We pretty much came to the second line, slightly less oversold, but nonetheless, very damn close. Similar idea. And what do? We bounced. RSI, oversold. Great. Same thing here. Oversold. I pretty much went to the second line this morning. And what do? Or what do I think we're going to do rather with the RSI also the exact same level? Get a bounce, right? So, you can always take these kind of, situations and these kind of patterns, if you will, and really just kind of put two and two together. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean it has to rally. Nothing is guaranteed whatsoever. But let's take a look how much we rally from the low to the high up here before we continued back down. Was about a 13% rally from here. From the low to the high, if you just, let's say bottom picked and top picked, just, for demonstrational purposes, almost 12%, pretty much the same. So in this case, if we rally about that, 12%ish, we'll pretty much go up somewhere to my 145-ish range, which is about a 10% rally from here, from the bottom of today, which lines up with that 618 Fibonacci retracement. That's kind of my current assumption. That's my current, obviously it's quote unquote guess. I mean, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen, but just simply putting two and two together. If I had to take, an educated guess, essentially, this is what I personally predict will happen with Nvidia moving forward over the next, I don't know how long it'll take. Week, probably next week. Honestly, I don't know how long, maybe even Monday or Friday. I don't know. I don't know how long it'll take, but just strictly putting those, facts together into a nice little bundle. That's kind of the conclusion that I personally have come to. So that's kind of my main and probably most important analysis for today. Now, don't forget the market, of course, is closed tomorrow. The market is closed on for Thanksgiving for America. And of course, on Friday, the market is only open for half the day, closing at 1 p.m. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll get that move on Friday because, it might be just a very quick, low volume sort of forget about a sort of day. But next week is what I would expect something like this to start, to come to fruition for Nvidia, moving its way back up to about the mid 140s. That's my current projection. Whether or not it happens or not, well, that's anyone's guess. Nobody knows for sure. But just strictly looking at the patterns, that's kind of my assumption right now. Now, obviously, if we take a look at the weekly, though, the weekly still has a little bit of problems, right? The last week's weekly candle looking a little bit concerning, right? We, of course, have today's weekly candle looking mediocre, right? The MACD on the weekly starting to cross bearish, which is why, like I said, if we do get this rally up about 10%, I personally still believe it'll be just a sell the rip type rally. I don't think this is rally to all-time highs. I do think Nvidia, at the very least, will come back down for a double bottom at 130 again, or make its way even lower, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean we still can't get this kind of dead cat rally. And of course, don't forget the month does close on Friday. I think Friday is the last day of the month for trading. It is. So we will get a monthly candle closure. And if it looks at anything like this, well, I'm not going to lie, not the best look in the entire world as well. So that's why I still think Nvidia requires caution moving forward. But short term, for the next maybe week or so, I wouldn't be surprised to get a bit of a relief rally moving forward. And then we'll go from there. But options flow, take a quick look at options flow and see what is happening with Nvidia stock. The bulls have finally started to come back over the bears. A lot of calls coming in, but the thing with Nvidia is, a lot of 1220 actually, a lot of these 1220 calls coming in pretty aggressively. But the thing with Nvidia is almost every day there's calls. I feel like if you only trade Nvidia off of flow, I just don't get how you can trade it off flow. Every day there's just millions of calls. Every day, it doesn't even matter what's happening. It doesn't matter if it's going up, down. It literally doesn't matter. There's calls, millions. I don't know where all this money is coming from. Who's lighting all this money on fire? But yeah, there's millions of calls pretty much every day on Nvidia. So I don't know how people trade Nvidia off flow specifically. It's just very strange to me. In terms of confirmed options flow, let's take a look if we can find Nvidia anywhere in the list here. Not finding it anywhere here. AMD is confirmed bearish, unfortunately. That's not what I like to see. Nvidia here confirmed 8 million bearish flow. Nothing to write home about. Nothing too crazy. So in my opinion, that's the main thing I'll be looking at. But again, despite this, like I said, Nvidia, all I think it will be doing is setting up a lower high. MACD is still bearish, right? So there are still some signs that I don't like to see. And I think we'll go at the very least for double bottom, if not potentially even lower. But yeah, all that being said and done, that's my current projection. Let me know what you think down below. I'll see you tomorrow, or not tomorrow. I'll see you on Friday. Peace.